what if we could create an irresistible no-brainer offer that felt like we were giving them something for free, but we actually made money? And SaaS is the solution.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the HighLevel Spotlight Sessions, where we showcase awesome marketers doing awesome marketing. Today, we are joined again by Matt Deseno of BAM. Matt, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks. And actually, today, it's Matt Deseno of HighLevel Pro Tools. But yeah, stoked to be here.
Right. So that's my bet. HighLevelProTools.com. We're going to talk a lot about that today, so don't worry. Matt came back on the show. If you haven't seen this previous episode, did we do 2 already or 1 with you? The last one was about chatbots, and Matt and his team are the king of the dialogue flow bots. So if you guys are interested in chatbots, hit him up about that as well. But today we're talking about white-labeled support. And the reason we have Matt on to talk about white-labeled support is because we're heading towards SaaS mode, right? And one of the big fears that I think we hear from customers when we start hyping up SaaS mode is, hey, this all sounds really awesome. Like I could totally hit the road and push this as SaaS to my industry. But wait a minute, what happens when they start asking questions about the software? It's impossible for me to keep up. Like, you guys push new features all the time, this and that. Like, I don't think I'd feel comfortable selling it as my own software, because I wouldn't be able to answer all the questions. And so, white-labeled support is something that we're talking about internally, and can we make that happen for people? But the answer that we usually give back right away is just hit up Matt Deseno, because they offer white-labeled support for HighLevel. It's really affordable, right? It's like $200 a month, and it's going really well, right? So tell me about this program, Matt.
Yeah, for sure. So the fun thing is, we started with HighLevel in January 2019. Well, I remember, like, when I was in the Facebook group, I remember in the first year, there was less than 200 people in that first month. And it was like a year later, there was like 2,000. But the reason why we even got started with HighLevel is we had an app we were building. We were trying to have an alternative to Scipio. We wanted texting. We were building stuff in Twilio. And then we heard someone was like, you got to just check out HighLevel. So hopped in there, and it was like, oh, this is a no brainer. So we were already coming from this perspective of, like, we wanted to sell software as a service. That was our background as an agency. We were really good. We knew you talk to anybody in the agency space, or talk to clients all the time, and you're always recommending something. And we were big into ClickFunnels. And so we're always you need a funnel builder, go to ClickFunnels. And I've got my little steering wheel thing too. And so we knew all you needed as an agency owner was a software that you could recommend. And 9 times out of 10, they would take it, especially if they became a client. And we would even find in a conversation, in a prospect, if we recommended it, they would take it even if they weren't working with us. And so we were feeling like we wanted to have our own software we could recommend, just to gather up all the goodwill we were spewing in conversations. We were always talking good about something, and we just wanted to capture that goodwill we were putting out in the marketplace. So in the first few months of HighLevel, we discovered this is awesome. One of my first posts was we need custom fields. So, we pushed, I remember gave Sean a bunch of money to just get this, feature out there, and then we'll push it. So then we started pushing it as a software, and we realized 2 things quickly. So we made a lateral move for folks. We basically said, hey, Scipio's horrible, come over here. And so for all of our clients, it was a no-brainer. But 2 things we did, and I think this is, depending on your circumstances, I still recommend this to folks. We kept it an arm's length away. We branded as something totally different from us, because, and maybe there's a couple benefits to that. So one, I tell people in psychology persuasion, humans can't adequately discount the endorsement of a stranger, right? I say, this is an amazing taco stand, and you don't know what my taste buds are like. And your best friend saying is worth this much, complete stranger saying is worth this much. We discount it, but not enough. But we do know how to discount self-interest. If I say, I have the best white-label support program for HighLevel, you're like, meh. We're able to discount self-interest. And so by recommending a software that isn't just oh, we've got a software, we get to keep a lot of that social proof and goodwill, and play on our ability to refer it and sell it effortlessly, and not stall ourselves from doing that. The other thing.
Hold on. I want to stop right there because I want to reiterate a point that you made that I think is so important. I literally am working on a webinar presentation about SaaS Mode, and one of the slides, you just hit the nail on the head. We all know that our customers need software to succeed. We all know they can't choose the right software on their own or configure it on their own, so they need someone to do it for them. But they could give a crap about which software it is. They just want somebody who knows how to choose software to choose it for them and recommend a good one. And so if you are out there like every agency or like we used to do saying, hey, all right, we need you to create an active campaign account, or we're going to create an active campaign account for you, or we're going to create a ClickFunnels account for you to do this, and we're going to create a CallRail account for you to do that. Like, you build zero brand equity that way, right? You're just perpetuating these other brands that at the end of the day want to take your customer directly from you anyway, right? And so now, you have to wrap your head around becoming your own software. And that's exactly what we're trying to do for everybody, is just make that easier.
So 100%. So that was like one aspect of it, right? So keeping it at arm's length helped it to sell, helped it to refer. It also, and maybe it's still in that category, helping it sell, helping to refer. People don't ask you weird questions when you recommend something else. When I say, hey, like you said, ClickFunnels is great. You know what they don't ask? Where's the server for ClickFunnels? They don't say like, is ClickFunnels HIPAA compliant? Think about like, they don't say like, well, what language is it built on? Like, what happens at night? Like, how is the lights kept up? We recommend things all the time. At the end of the day, big or small, whatever the softwares we recommend, there are some computer, there is some server. And so when you try and play the game of like, I've got this proprietary software, which isn't bad, we've seen people do it. I'm just telling you, you will receive the question. You'll receive those weird questions that no one asks when I say like, oh, check out ActiveCampaign. It's a pretty good email provider. They're not like, well, are they rotating IP addresses or is it a dedicated IP address? People don't ask that. But when it feels like small, when it feels like it's yours, then they feel like the need to ask really weird questions. So it stalls that sales process. So we want to get rid of that. So we kept it arm's length, which is great. Pull all these people in there. I was like, this is amazing. This was the easiest decision of my life. I just said, X is bad, Y is better. We made it so it's like X is bad for these reasons, Y is better for these reasons. Also, Y is cheaper. And what happened? Everyone was like, no brainer. And they just ran over there. And I have another video in the group where I talk like, if you just go like, oh, are you using whatever, like these two softwares? Well, this one does all the same and is less, right? It can be a really no brainer sale. Do you want to save money? Not hard. But then I learned something quick. HighLevel, and I love HighLevel. HighLevel is great at innovation. But the other token of that is it's a struggle for documentation. And no one's fault. Like it's like, oh, you're really good at being fast, but you're bad at being slow. Like, well, duh. Like you can't. Like those are you're really hot, but you're not cold. Like, yes,
believe me, that's a challenge internally for us to.
That's how it works. That's understandably how it works. And so everyone's out there. We're not like saying HighLevel, please stop being as awesome and creating awesome things. No one is saying that. No one is saying that. I was not saying that. I just said, I need to solve this a different way. And so what I did, and so we were already, I had this established agency. We had 2 locations in Denver and LA. We ditched the offices now. Thank you, COVID. But still, I've got like people, boots on the grounds, marketers, not that it matters, but like just coincidentally, a lot of college educated like marketers who like even went to school for marketing and just started working for the agency. And I was like, let's leverage this. And so we even had like videographers, and I'm like, now what we're doing, you are now making like, I was like, I wanted support to be like HubSpot. I was like, I want HubSpot style support for our white label version of HighLevel. Because that's just what people expect. And that's what we set out to do. So literally created this team around running support for ourselves. And then it was a no-brainer to think, why don't we just white label all of this? Mm-hmm. We honestly then realized the power in the next level power in niching down software. And so even now we run multiple front entry points to HighLevel depending on the niche. And so it's like we're holding multiple brands even ourselves. So we needed to white label just to be able to leverage across our own multiple brands. And then it became this obvious thing of like, we could leverage this and fill a need for a lot of HighLevel users. And so that's what we've been doing. And so the position and what it started off with, we just need some documentation. need some videos, need some articles, whatever. Quickly realized doing it once is absolutely worthless. And so then it became SOPs on like having alerts every time there's an update in the Facebook group that we have to redo X amount of articles, X amount of videos, because that's what happens every week. But now there's a team that just sits there and every day they walk in and like, oh, today we're making this or making this and redoing this based on what's the test there, and digging into what is the latest update in triggers, or what custom values can be used in this area and can't be used in this area. You know, if you're in a webhook on a trigger or in a campaign, you can't use a custom value, but if it's in a trigger, then you can, or whatever it is. Just documenting all of the nuances, intentional or unintentional, that are a part of this growing and thriving software platform, because that's what people want.
Let me ask you a tricky question.
Sure. Tell me. Yeah, please.
We were talking earlier about how you have a new premium Zap out. If you're a pro user, you can use your Zap. That's basically a lot of the features that are coming in SaaS mode before they're available in SaaS mode, which is pretty cool, right? So we're talking about like more granular control that you can automate through the Zap out of the gate.
Yeah.
Because as I'm thinking through this on our own content team, how do you think about, okay, well, some of my clients are going to have these permissions turned on for their customers, others are not. How do you control the library where it's like they might see a doc for a feature that they don't have?
This is so good. I'm glad you didn't even know you were teeing me up. So you're wondering, like, do we have the ability to turn on and off portions of the library that you don't want access to? Like, yes. Do we have the ability to load in your own content? Because maybe you've got a particular thing and you've got a niche and you're like, you know, you're using this for the funnel building, but really you're teaching people how to be better salespeople and you wanted your own training library on that, or whatever it is, or you've got an other tool that complements what you've doing. So yes, we've been through this and been certain. We've got a few hundred agencies right now. And I'd say almost, I mean, that's interesting. If you've got a good amount of clients and you don't know, I apologize. But a lot of the people who like have, I would say almost all of the folks that have hundreds, I mean, who am I to know one way or the other? But most of the folks that have hundreds of users are already using us. And it's probably our value prop as well. So right now, for, as Chase already mentioned, and you know, I apologize every time I do these, is the price going to continue to be this low forever? I hope so. Maybe not. If you come back and it's not the same price, like it's always going to be a no-brainer offer. But still, for over a year now, for $197 a month, we will do unlimited support for you and your clients. So we honestly have folks with, you know, 1,000. It was our biggest in the thousands of users who pay us $197. So it's like, for obviously the more clients you have, the more of a crazy no-brainer it is. But that, I mean, I wanted an offer that was accessible, that was like a no-brainer on multiple levels. And so all the stuff we package together, that's what we put it in there for. But to what you're saying about the Elite Zap, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So wait, before we talk about that, not to make this a total infomercial, but I just want to clarify for the $200, they get access to docs, white labeled docs and videos, right?
Yeah.
They get ticketed support. And yeah. You said you're also doing live chat?
Yes. Okay. So we are running live chat. I will tell you this month, that is no longer part of the 197.
Okay.
So if you want we have been up until this point, we've also been doing 7 days of live chat, literally chatting. And we were talking about beforehand. I built the team up of US based folks. So, and it's not bad one way or the other, but like, we just realized the kind of support that we wanted for our folks are people who could actually solve the issue right then and there. It is not the kind of support that's like, I'll create a ticket for you. That's not what I wanted for our users. And so that's not what I set up to build. And inevitably, like, that's not what we provide. And so it is people who actually deeply understand this, because we make them study our own documentation and we have good systems in place. And people who know the expectation is you solve the issue. You don't stall the issue. And so and we call it, like, we did this, I forget what the exercise is called, like a 11-star exercise or 10-star exercise. On a scale from 1 to 5, 5 stars, you're usually great. And you play this game of like, what would 10-star support be? Like, we're literally, anytime they have an issue, they're teleported into our office. We gather around them on the computer and we, feed them amazing food and then solve their issue with it, right? So you go through this exercise. What's 10-star? What's 9-star? What's 8-star? What's 7 or 6-star? And you come out with some ideas around the 6 or 7-star where we're like, we want to implement that. And so that's what we did. So now we've got a process where, based on like granted access and stuff like that, like if they have issues, we will hop into their account, solve it, record the Loom video of us solving it, and then be like, hey, it's solved. Also, here's how you solve it in the future. Because we're like, that's the kind of support I want, is like, you fixed it and I know how to do it. So like I'm empowered, and I'm also just like, the issue is taken care of. Like, ultimately that's what you want. Like, I just want the issue done with. And so we did that exercise, it's probably over 6 months now, and started to like implement more procedures with that, where we could like just give the kind of support that people want. The question's always like, how do you, like, is it white labeled? And we say it like, yes, 100%. It's probably beyond white labeled, because aspects are white labeled and then aspects are branded. Like, it's actually your brand. So it's not like sign off, like, helpful person, whatever it is. Like, it's white labeled, and then the support is actually branded. So if they're chatting or asking about whatever your software is or whatever your agency is, like, we communicate as if we're your brand. And
you have to spend a lot of time in the beginning, like, I call it like the chameleon effect, like learning about that other person's brand. And like, are there a lot of scenarios? It's like, well, what should we say in this scenario? Or what should we do in this scenario? Or like, is there a lot of that, or not as much as you think?
Not as much as you think. We are, and this is probably just the benefit too of, I think, being a US based team. So like, everybody who comes in, I'm going to blow a surprise. Like, we do a call and pull a few of the team folks on to like get to know you. And like, this is a $197 a month subscription service. Like, and that's something we're currently doing for free, like, just to get to know you. Like, you have a point of reference on the team and an email address for nuanced stuff, because people have nuanced things. Like, if it's like, whatever it is, people send us, we end up building SOP docs per, vertical, but you don't have to have that. Like, and then we just serve as your front lines. So we tell people all the time, like, if someone comes in and asks like, oh, Chase told me he was gonna, give me a credit for $500 on my ad account. We don't have the answer to that. We don't know whether it's good or bad. So there are scenarios where we're like, oh, absolutely, let me make a ticket for that. I'll pass it off to Chase. He'll take care of you right away, right? And so we just get to be the front lines of defense, so that you're only dealing with the stuff that you really need to deal with. And we're in communication, and the people you're talking to, in case it's like, if it's that, and Chase comes back and says, oh, well, actually, like, this, FYI, this is an offer we sent to everybody where they get a $5 credit. It's going to be added in by the 15th of the month. And so if anybody else asks, just let them know that. And we're like, check. The next person who asks, we just say, this will be added in the 15th of the month, or whatever it is. And so,
nice.
That's
awesome, man.
That's the piece behind it. I was just talking about SaaS in general and even the journey to get here, but maybe we got to it. So like, that's what we're offering. That's what we're doing. Do we want to talk Elite Zap?
Give us a quick 30-second elevator pitch.
Okay. Well, so if you currently want to create an account and load custom values in, if you want to have granular permissions for users, like turn on and off certain things automatically, if you want to be able to add users across accounts, if you want to be able to load in special snapshots, basically a lot of the stuff that is hopefully coming out with SaaS Mode, we are currently doing that. And so things like, the custom values one is like a killer thing. Like, we build for ourselves and for other folks too, entire like funnel templates that are entirely based on custom values. But so even imagine like a setup for a client. If you had one form where all the questions there, like we asked for like primary color, right? Secondary color, logo, you upload to that one form, you hit submit, the account is created and all the custom values are already in. And now those are what's being referenced in the funnel page, in the emails, in the campaigns, like all of those things that custom values are awesome and, are great to make these robust accounts. Now you can automate that and either ask for it straight from the client and have them type it in. Here's your onboarding form, and boom, account is created. So you can have like, we're going to build you a new website. Please put in these, things we need, like what's your color, and have them pick a hex code and stuff like that. And it literally populates it in the account automatically.
Wait, custom values work with hex codes?
Sure, why not?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we use it as, we have some, so I mean, the other aspect of HighLevel Pro Tools is any cool things that we build for ourselves, I just share to people in the community. And so like we built stuff to like basically rewrite for color codes. And now with the SVG editor, like we have SVG kind of graphics, like whatever they are, sort of stuff in there that based on their primary color code goes in, changes it out. And so you can have chocolate, vanilla, strawberry version of a funnel or a website. They give you the information, it automatically creates it and makes it already look on brand.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we schedule another one of these to just cover that stuff? Because I think like some of that stuff's going to be in SaaS mode, but some of it is not. Like you've taken it beyond, I think there's always going to be cool things that you're doing that are not out of the box in SaaS mode. But just to be clear, you can do those things with Matt if you want, but you have to be on the pro plan to get access to the full API. So basically you go pro, you get access to the full API, and then you can give him your key and he can make the cool stuff happen for you. But I think we should do a separate one just on all this cool stuff, because I don't think a lot of people know what an SVG is, so we should show them what you can do with that kind of stuff. And like the hex code thing, I didn't know that. That's amazing. That means you can just like the implications of that are incredible. So let's do that. Let's book another one to talk about your premium app and what's possible with the full API.
Cool. No, yeah, I love it. So from the, and I don't know if you just need to wrap up, but that's honestly SaaS mode, the direction of where HighLevel is going is a no-brainer. And so we're just another resource, either from an agency or from a SaaS perspective. If you don't want to be doing, I mean, for me, it feels like I don't clean my toilets anymore because I hire a cleaning crew to come in, every week and clean the house. Like there are certain things where when you want to grow and get to the next level, two things you're going to realize. Cash gives you the space to risk and grow. SaaS is such an awesome way to pad your cash in the agency. Like this is a crazy arbitrage game. And like, I know because we're servicing the people that are like, going out there and doing it well, but it is a no-brainer even from like a SaaS to sell HighLevel, anywhere from $197 to $497 plus, a month just for hands-off welcome. You can have the software now. And that recurring subscription gives you the freedom to then spend money on ads growing or hiring out a team and developing the sales cycle. So all the things that are necessary and so crucial to grow. Or, I mean, there's plenty of people that use this like a lifestyle business. I've been super, impressed, admire folks who understand what it takes to be content. And so they're like, we have folks that, they run 40K a month in their thing and they run it off of like us and them. And they're like barely doing anything in it. And they're like, this is great. I don't need an agency. This is my software company. And so the future implications of being able to sell these, I mean, who knows? Like this is where it's gone. So this is, I highly recommend getting into it.
Nice. Let me ask you a question. You don't have to give me the exact number, but what's the range? Where are you at in pure SaaS sales? Like pure white labeled SaaS revenue?
You want me to give you a range. So I can't give you, come into HighLevel Pro Tools, I'll give you all the secrets. But so there is,
what I'm getting at is that I want to open people's eyes.
I want to know what's possible. So I'll tell you, what's better. So here's the thing. We've been doing it since not this, but doing the agency since 2012. And so I'm usually super honest with folks of the way we get to play the game is different than someone who's starting off. Like you just got to acknowledge it. Like I just said, cash helps, right? You want to imagine how fast I can grow if I can spend $50,000 a month on ads to grow a SaaS, like, and like bad ads would be like a 1-to-1, right? So it's like, now if you're starting off, you don't have $50,000 laying around. You're like, I just want to blow this on ads money. So what is better is what I've seen like proven from folks in this even just in the last year during COVID. I was talking to somebody last night who started off, he is actually, I've been encouraging him to up the price, but he doesn't. So he's selling for under $97 a month to a cheap, crazy niche. and he broke 18,000 last month or this month. I forget what it was. Like it first, like monumental for him. Like, and I'm like, and from a low ticket perspective, right? So that's, and literally I was there from like idea inception. I think in like May or June, maybe, like I gave him the idea of the name, ran out with the name, and last month is done. I think he said over 18K. And that's low ticket. That's like, I 100% do not recommend that, but it can be done. We had somebody else who launched 4 weeks ago. We helped them launch Pure SaaS. That was it, Pure SaaS. And they're on a 7-figure run rate. Like they've crossed 80,000 a month in sales. Now, totally different scenarios, right? Now, and to be fair, actually, they did it no ads as well. But I'll tell you, like certain people, it's like you got to dig your well before you're thirsty. It is different if you already have a community. Like that was for us when we launched. When we launched, we made a lateral move. If you have hundreds of clients, you can tell them like, "Hey, this one sucks. This one's great. Just come over here. It costs a little bit less." And be like, "Oh, I launched a 7-figure SaaS in a day." You know, the circumstances matter. But I've seen from very humble, and it's like the packaging. It's like, who do you want to serve? What's the kind of offer that you want to have? How involved do you want to be? I'll tell you, some folks, like the more niche specific you are, the more value you build around that niche, the higher price you can charge. I've seen folks still in COVID launch to equally, I'd say like obscure niches, but did like the play was $1,000 setup and like $400 a month. And launched to, I think, he did, I forget, over 20 people in the first month.
Nice.
And so I forget what that comes out to be. So that's like 20,000 in setup fees plus another, is that 80,000? Like it was great. It was awesome. Right. And so you can pick, and this is stuff we talk about all the time in our Facebook group of like the different ways you can launch and leverage SaaS. For us, we wanted it as a hands, a distance and arm's length thing we could refer people to. Mm-hmm. Totally fine. It's great. Some people want to bring it in and own it and just be the SaaS company. Other people want it to be a hidden cost. Like this is the other thing we do is like from an agency and from an offer perspective, you know how sweet it is to, I'll tell you, this is last little nugget for anybody who's listening. So what we do on our bottom tier offer, like if you're running agency sales, you know this game, the most frustrating thing is your closing ratio. And I say it's your frustrating thing because like if you have sales guys and gals, they want to close everything. You want 100%. You paid something to get them on the call. And so what we realized is, what if we could create an irresistible no-brainer offer that felt like we were giving them something for free, but we actually made money. And SaaS is the solution. And so what our offer is, our bottom tier offer is, I call it organic performance-based marketing. What if I said, like,
let me guess. What if I said, we'll give you access to our platform, very low fee, with all the instructional material on how to set this up yourself. And if you find it's too hard, then you can come up to our.
No. We don't even do that. We do that.
I love that, by the way.
No, that's another good play. What we say is, because remember, we're keeping it arm's length. It's not our software platform.
Oh, right, okay.
What we say is, we will do your marketing 100% performance. You will only pay us when someone pays you, and you will pay us less than the amount that they paid you. So if they pay you $200, we'll figure out an arrangement. You can pay us $50. Does that sound like a good deal? Who's going to say no to that? No one's going to say no to that. Only caveat is you have to use the software because it's the only one that adequately tracks when we make a sale on your behalf. And so if you're not like, literally, you have to use the software because that's the only way that we can even do this work for you. But you pay for the software over there. You send us your login credentials. We'll configure it all and set it up for you. And then you only pay us when a sale happens. So we take this, we take this play to sell it on a little bit higher ticket, not like crazy high, but a little bit, I'll just tell you, in the $500 a month range. For an established business, it's kind of like if I said, I'll be a commission-only salesperson, you just got to pay for my Zoom account.
Right.
A lot of people would take that, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Commission-only salesperson, you just got to pay for my Zoom account. Totally fair. And so that's our bottom bucket offer. Man, I just gave away. No, this is all good. You know, the great
That's
thing
why I love
is
talking to Matt. Once you get
rising
going,
tides lift all ships. And so this is awesome. And yeah, any piece of this, you could just roll with one of these things. And I've seen it turn the needle in your agency. So, you know, we love to see it. And that's honestly my goal too. If I can help you get enough clients so that you're overwhelmed with support and you're like, please, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like, this is how it works. And this is the kind of stuff that we share inside of it too, is because I'm like, if I can help you sell more, our offer just becomes more of a no-brainer. So I love
one
it.
thing I'm curious about is HL Pro tools. My understanding was it was some cool tools and you could pay for support, but it also sounds like are you coaching people, like mentoring them into how to, you know, transition into certain models and like, hey, here, you know.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, it's turned into just free coaching. I don't have a formal offer around that. That's not what I set out to do. But like when I'm talking to people and they're in the Facebook group and they're asking questions, I'm going to tell them like straight up, this is what like I said, it like all cards on the table. The people who if you're listening right now and you've got over 100 clients and you're not already with us, like this is a no-brainer. Like fire your VA you're paying $800 a month for and get US based support for $200 a month. Like that's it. And if you've got less than that, you're still paying for the VA to run this for you. Like, and you've got outdated videos from 2 years ago, like, or whatever it is, like this is a no brainer. But for people who are starting off, or maybe they're here and they're getting into it and they've got 10, 15, I love to see them grow. I mean, I'll tell you, that guy I was telling you who hit that 18K month, he started off, he had nothing. He signed up for this as like, you know, we just came into the ecosystem and it's, you know, so people who are starting off, there's definitely more kind of like coaching, if you will, but I'm like, I'm telling you, it's selfish coaching. You can sell more people, you will stick around longer. We will become a no-brainer offer. And so that's the perspective we're coming from. But yeah, the name is confusing and I understand and I apologize. HL Pro Tools, mostly white label support. So you can spend 0 hours a week in high level support and then a lot of other cool things that I give you because I just want you to grow. So this becomes an even bigger no-brainer offer.
There we have it. Thanks so much for coming back on, Matt. And let's book another one to talk about the API.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next one.